my god, we're gonna do a premiere.
You guys didn't see this, okay?
That's the girl that lent me $1,000. Long time no see.
I'm currently at 7-Eleven in Taiwan. It's a circular building. What's up guys, it's Annie and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for everyone's support on my last video. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look behind the scenes at my creator studio and digging through my channel analytics. If you're new here, I've been live streaming my time in quarantine and lockdown here in Taiwan. The one thing that's different about making these types of videos now is that we don't have as much time in the live premiere to catch up and answer questions and just chat. So I'm gonna try something new and go live right after this premiere so we can keep the conversation going and not get cut short. I'll pin the link in the live chat and also in the comments, so make sure to hop on over after this premiere. Okay, so today I wanted to make a video to share with you guys just how many different transportation options there are in Taiwan and just how it's so convenient to get anywhere on the island. Taiwan really is Asia's transportation paradise. So I'm gonna go over 12 different types of ways to get around Taiwan, ranging from mopeds to bullet trains all the way to boats. As always, let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're here for the premiere, let me know in the live chat, and if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments down below. To join in on the next premiere, all you have to do is click that notification bell, and of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're on the road to 1K together as a community. So to join in on all the fun, all the links are in the description down below. Okay, so for number 1, we have the moped, aka a scooter. So by far the most common mode of transportation in Taiwan is by scooter. Being such a small island with so many people, scooters are small enough to squeeze onto small roads and can carry multiple people at a time. Luckily, helmets are strictly enforced in Taiwan, and there is a fine if you're caught riding without a helmet, even if you're just a passenger. If you ever visit some of the offshore islands, getting around by scooter is definitely the most convenient way. Okay, so number 2, we have cars. Even though the majority of Taiwanese people do get around by scooter, there are still some people that prefer to drive cars. However, the biggest problem with driving cars is the issue with parking. Whenever you go out somewhere, you do need to make an effort to find somewhere to park. And if your home doesn't have a parking garage or a designated parking area, you do need to find a local public parking spot or pay for like a monthly parking garage fee. So what happens if you don't have a scooter or a car? Luckily, the convenience of Taiwan carries over to even public transportation. Okay, so the number 3 method of transportation we have in Taiwan is just walking. Lots of people in Taiwan walk from place to place. It gives you a chance to squeeze in some light exercise and also get some fresh air. If you ever pass by a local park in the morning, there's bound to be a group of seniors exercising and just stretching and working out at the park. Even at nighttime, it is common to take an evening stroll after dinner. With everything in Taiwan being so close and convenient, it's very common for people just to walk from place to place. Okay, so for number 4, we have biking. The cycling culture is huge in Taiwan, and the everyday person has probably used some sort of public bike at some point. You've probably heard of the company Giant Bicycles, but did you know it was a Taiwanese company? Many large cities have a public bike sharing system, a service provided in collaboration with Giant. Here in Tainan, we have T-Bike. In Pingtung, they have P-Bike. In Taipei, there's U-Bike. In Kaohsiung, there was C-Bike, but now it's recently changed to U-Bike. And then in Taichung, they have I-Bike, but also some U-Bike stations as well. Taiwan is a super bike-friendly country, and most city roads are pretty flat and easy to bike on. Most cities have a pretty decent network of bike lanes, especially near the schools. Biking is a great way to get a little exercise, get some fresh air, and even help alleviate some of the pollution. Anyone has access to the public biking system in Taiwan, whether you're a local or even a tourist. Stations are so easy to find on Google Maps, and there are plenty of bikes at each station. All you need is a universal transit pass like an iPass or an Easy Card, which you can register online or at any station. It just sends a one-time confirmation code to your phone, and then you're good forever. It is recommended to check the brakes and tires before choosing a bike at a station, and each station does have a set of self-service tools in case you need to adjust anything. Also, every bike has a built-in lock in case you need to run errands on your way and need to leave the bike unattended at any point. There's also a convenient basket for storage and even a full coverage fender in case you ever get caught biking in the rain. Obviously, biking is weather dependent and no one wants to bike in the rain, but luckily there are plenty of other public transportation options in Taiwan. Okay, number 5, we have buses. The bus system is so extensive in Taiwan, sometimes it's even more direct than taking the MRT, which I'll talk about in a second. The most important thing that you need to know about taking the bus in Taiwan is that you do need to wave the buses down. There are so many buses that pass through the same stations, so to keep everyone on schedule, they only stop to pick up passengers if you wave them down. The buses come so frequently that even if you're running and just miss your bus, another one is bound to pull up within minutes and sometimes even seconds. It's so convenient and the maps are pretty easy to read. I personally love using the app called Taiwan Bus Tracker because I can look up any bus line in any city in Taiwan and I can see exactly how many minutes away the bus is. It even tells you which stops have bike sharing stations so you can continue your journey on effortlessly. Most cities do have their own bus tracking apps and I personally love using the Tainan and Kaohsiung ones because it has a live location map of exactly where each bus is so I can see exactly which intersection my bus is at. The buses in Taiwan are super safe and clean and the drivers know what they're doing, so if you're ever worried about which destination you're going to, don't hesitate just to ask the driver. Fares are also super affordable and again, all you need is that universal transit card like the iPass or Easy Card. Just remember to tag your reader when you get on and off the bus so it knows exactly how many stops to deduct from your balance. If you ever need to refill your card, you can just walk into any convenience store and top up at the register. You can even set up auto refill if your card is connected to a bank account or a credit card. I personally use Line Pay Money to refill my iPass card so I never have to worry about topping up. Okay, so for number 6, we have the taxi. So I just mentioned Line, which you've probably heard about if you're in Taiwan. Here in Taiwan, people use Line for everything from messaging to making reservations to even paying bills. One of the features that I personally love using is called Line Taxi. In Taiwan, a traditional yellow cab is still a very well used mode of transportation. There are so many ways to call a cab here. You can either call the designated 55688 phone number, you can download the 55688 app, you can walk into any convenience store like 7-Eleven or Family Mart and just call one at the kiosk, and of course the typical just waving one down from the side of the road. But the most convenient way for me is through Line because I use that every day anyways. And payment is already set up to use Line Pay so I never have to worry about cash or cards on the go. There's literally a button that just says taxi and you just click that button and a tab opens up and it just looks exactly like your typical ride-sharing app like Uber. All you need to do is type in your destination and it gives you an estimated price range for your ride. When you do call the taxi, you can see exactly how far they are and how many minutes until their arrival. And of course, it shows you the license plate number, the make and model of the car, the name of the driver, and their rating, and a photo and everything. These are regular taxis, so it's not like a different service provided by Line or anything. If you do prefer to hail a taxi the traditional way, you can always pay with cash or use that universal transit card like iPass or Easy Card since taxis do have card readers. Okay, so for number 7, we have Uber. So Uber did enter Taiwan pretty quickly early on, but the government was quick to ensure that it would have minimal impact on the existing taxi system here in Taiwan. Now all the regulations state that any driver that signs up for Uber does need to be a registered taxi driver first, and that way they can get the taxi license plates that have the red numbers. So if you ever do call an Uber in Taiwan, just make sure the car has a red license plate number so you know it's legitimate. Uber is available up in the Taipei area, in the Taichung area, in the Kaohsiung area, and as of last month, it's now here in the Tainan area as well. For tourists, I would say that Uber is a pretty good option since you can use the same exact app that you've been using back home and the payment is already connected through the app. Okay, so now let's talk about some other modes of transportation that are not on the main roads. Alright, for number 8, we have the MRT. So MRT stands for Mass Rapid Transit, and the system is available in most major cities. The Taipei, New Taipei, and Taoyuan areas have an MRT. Taichung and Kaohsiung also have MRTs, and Tainan is currently building an MRT system now. As a foreigner, you don't have to worry about getting lost on the MRT because everything is pretty user-friendly. All the lines are color-coded, there's maps everywhere, and all the signs are also translated into English. With the hot weather in Taiwan, enjoying the air conditioning on public transportation is always nice. What's also nice about the rail systems in Taiwan is that most stations do have lockers in case you ever need to use them. Due to the high ridership levels of the MRT, the frequency of trains is incredible. So first off, everybody always lines up really nicely when waiting for the MRT at all the stations, and if the train that you lined up for was too full, people in Taiwan don't really squeeze their bodies on to try and get on if they can. Most people just wait for the next train because it comes as often as within 1 to 2 minutes. Trains run daily from 6 a.m. all the way to midnight, so people use the MRT system for their daily commutes all the way until the late evening. If you're just visiting Taiwan for a short period of time, you could get one-way journey tokens, but honestly, it's way more convenient just to get that universal transit card that I've been talking about, like the iPass or Easy Card. The card itself only costs 100 NT, which is about $3 US, and you can get it at any station or any convenience store. If you really wanted to, you could get that 100 NT back, but honestly, I would just save it for future use because you can use it on so many other things. You even get a 20% off discount on all rides if you do use the transit card, so it's definitely worth it. The MRT is also super clean, and there's a strict no eating or drinking policy on all the trains. This is different than the TRA and HSR train systems, which I'll talk about next. So notice how I said you can't eat or drink on the MRT and not no food or drink is allowed? You're actually allowed to carry food and drink in your hand, but you're just not allowed to consume them while on the MRT. There are cameras everywhere to watch out for this, and also fellow passengers will call you out as well. So definitely the rule is strictly enforced. Okay, so for number 9, we have TRA. TRA stands for Taiwan Railroads Administration. And if you've heard of the Taiwan Railroad bentos, they are made famous by the TRA, which is the regular train system in Taiwan. So yes, this means that different from the MRT systems, you are allowed to eat on the TRA train as well as the HSR train, which I'll talk about next. What makes the TRA system stand out in Taiwan is that it goes all the way around the island and even stops at small cities. Tickets do depend on which train you take, whether it has more stops or if it's an express train which only stops at the major cities. You can choose either reserved or non-reserved tickets, where reserved is assigned seating and non-reserved is open seating, which means you can sit at any open seat until somebody comes up to you and says you're sitting in their assigned seat. You just move to another open seat, but if there's no more open seats, then you do have to stand. You can buy TRA train tickets either at a station vending machine, directly at the counter, online, on their app, even at a convenience store. What I really like about all the systems in Taiwan is that they're always on time. So if you look at the schedule, the trains are always on time. And even if they're running like 1 or 2 minutes late, they always apologize profusely and make sure to get back on time as quickly as possible. Again, the TRA trains are very clean, they have air condition, and they also have bathrooms on board. Okay, so next we have the HSR. So the HSR stands for High Speed Rail, and this is Taiwan's bullet train system. It's extremely fast and scales the entire west side of the island. You can go from the north all the way to the south in just 2 hours, which is incredibly fast. Again, these trains are super clean and you can eat on the ride as well. Like the TRA, they do have people with push carts that come up and down the aisles on your journey that have food if you would like to buy something to eat, and they also have someone that comes up and down and collects your trash. The seats on the HSR are extremely comfortable, and you can even rotate the rows 180 degrees if you're traveling with a group and you all want to face each other and enjoy some time together on the ride. The HSR also has air conditioning, onboard bathrooms, and also make their announcements in English. One thing to note about the HSR is that you can't use that universal transit card like the iPass or the Easy Card. You need to either buy a ticket online through their app or at a convenience store kiosk, or you can just go to the station and get one at the self-serve machine or directly at the counter. Tickets are a little bit more expensive than other modes of transportation, but honestly, it's so fast and convenient, it's definitely a great way to save time on travel. Also, all the HSR stations do have lockers. They also have a convenience store if you need to grab a quick bite to eat before you hop on the train. And I don't know if it's just a coincidence that I personally noticed, but I think that most, if not all, the stations have a Moss Burger as well. Aside from the stations that are located directly in the city, a lot of the HSR stations are actually located a little bit further out of the city center. This is why many of the stations actually provide a free shuttle service that takes you directly to the center of the city. I personally always take the shuttle bus because it's a free connection service all the way to the city center, and I don't have to worry about getting someone to pick me up or dealing with like a taxi or Uber or anything. HSR is definitely one of my favorite ways to get around the island. Okay, so for number 11, we have flights. So during the height of the pandemic, it was definitely not advised to leave the country, but because Taiwan was doing such a good job of controlling the pandemic, people were traveling throughout the Taiwan itself and exploring all different corners of the country. Personally, I made the effort to visit as many offshore islands as I could. While some of the small islands like Xiaoliuqiu, Green Island, and Turtle Island were easily accessible by boat, to get to further islands like Penghu, Jingmen, and Matsu, I actually had to take a domestic flight. The two main international airlines in Taiwan do have a domestic branch as well. Uni Air operates under EVA Air, and Mandarin Air operates under China Air. They both have their own flight routes, so depending on which island you want to go to, you can look up which plane to take. There are many small airports all around Taiwan that fly directly to these small islands. For me, I usually just go to the Tainan airport because it's the closest and most convenient for me, but there are also airports in Kaohsiung, Jiayi, Taitung, Taichung, and Taipei, just to name a few. And you know what I find the most crazy? Like all the other modes of transportation, you can also buy your plane tickets at a convenience store. Before, I couldn't buy my tickets online because I didn't have a card that didn't have international fees, so I would literally just walk into a 7-Eleven and just buy a plane ticket with cash. Honestly, this just goes to show how convenient Taiwan really is. Okay, so for number 12, we have boats. As Taiwan is an island in itself, it's also made up of a lot of smaller surrounding islands. Getting to some of the smaller islands is sometimes easiest by boat. Besides flying to places like Penghu, Green Island, and Orchid Island, you can also take a boat that's only like 1 or 2 hours, so it's really not that long at all. I would just say make sure to take that motion sickness medicine because you're gonna need it. I've also taken boats to Xiaoliuqiu and Turtle Island, and there's even boats that go in between island groups in Jingmen, Matsu, and of course in Penghu. Taiwan really is an island transportation paradise with so many ways to get around. All the public transportation options in Taiwan are incredibly clean, affordable, convenient, and most importantly, safe. Of course, you always need to be aware of your personal belongings, but rarely is there ever any petty theft on public transportation here. And honestly, you probably have a higher chance of someone returning something to you rather than getting something stolen. That's just the Taiwanese way. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna hop on over to the live stream now, so come over and say hi to me. The link is pinned in the live chat and also in the comments down below. I have some really fun videos about what life in Taiwan is like right now. If there's anything you want to see or if you have any questions, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks to everyone who's here for the live premiere, and if you're watching the replay, make sure to click the notification bell to join in on the next video. We're on the road to 1K, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Check out some of my previous videos to learn more about what Taiwan is like these days. Make sure to share my channel with anyone you think is interested in Taiwan, and I'll see you in a second over on the live stream. Bye!